Hey, welcome to Bears Banter. Hey, what's up, Sands? How you doing?
What's going on, team? How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good. Getting ready for this game at the Monday night game. Getting a lot of positive vibes from the Bears fans.
Oh, absolutely. It's funny what a couple wins do for you. Then your bandwagon get pretty heavy. Everybody started talking about I was always on the Bears side. I've been there. I always believed in them. You're like, no, that ain't what you said last year. That ain't what you said at the beginning of the season. So it's always kind of funny, that bandwagon gonna get heavier and heavier. But I kind of like it happening that way. So I'm looking forward.
Right. Hey, like that saying from Hollywood Shuffle, the movie. I always believed in you. You was my brother.
You was my brother. I did it.
Yeah. One of the things that came out of Monday night game is the Troy Aikman thing. And I know I thought that they're interested with the Troy Aikman in it. And I have no problem with if you're giving critical advice that could help. But
Not at all.
But it wasn't fair criticism because he wasn't saying the other thing. But it might all boil down to the fact that he might have been upset that Caleb Williams wasn't able to meet with him at the time that he was supposed to meet with him. And when Caleb called him back to because practice went a little bit longer, he didn't answer. So it could have just been something being petty,
Well, regardless of that, what that's called is unprofessional. So if your job is to interview, players and get an assessment of the team, you can't get so far in your feelings that your feelings are hurt and you're going to always say something negative about that player or about the team. At the end of the day, we're not friends. These aren't people that you get along with. You, as a professional analyst, it's your job to give an assessment for what you think about the game. Did he do a bad pass? He's throwing the ball incorrectly or without time. That's valid information, especially coming from your position as a quarterback. That's something that we need as viewers in order to understand the game. But these Bears, they suck. Look, Dayton Daniels, he's doing perfect. Well, wait a minute. That contrasts and conflicts with everything people are watching. If we watch it and we see one thing, you say, well, wait a minute, this guy, he didn't complete it. At the time you said that he had completed 8 out of 11 passes. Yeah. He's not accurate. Well, what else you want him to do? Then he started being upset. He's putting the ball too high on the receivers and he hit him in the shoulder pads. Well, had you put your hands up, it would have hit you in the hands.
Right.
The quarterback can't throw it for you and catch it too. So, I think that's what came away more than anything. And, when you juxtapose that against, the Bears are playing on the road. It's kind of a rivalry game. He's playing against Jaden Daniels, who ended up outshining him last year, although he didn't outshine him head to head. So that's kind of interesting how that whole thing came down. He should have been more aware that he needed to be more evenly killed on the things he said, especially because the Bears ended up winning the game and, rushing well and stopping the run and all of those things that you didn't expect.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things I had problems with, and sometimes it didn't match what was going on in the game. Like I said, hey, if you overthrew a pass, you say throw it, and he needs to be on more accuracy. I agree on that play, but when you 8-11, you can't be talking about at that time accuracy, right? Because that's really about 73% at that particular point in the game. But for Chicago fans, as far as watching a game like that, you have to feel good because you came out with a W and your team still has managed to at least score 25 or more points, I believe, in every game this year. I know the Dallas game was one where we blew out, but we still kind of got there. That's just one of those ones you burned the tape. But that's positive for the Bears to keep, because that means offensively you still have an opportunity if you keep that momentum to be in every game or winning the game down the stretch.
Well, I think Ben Johnson still has his eyes on the prize. So even in the locker room, his speech after the Bears won, were basically, look, we dealt with adversity. We in adversity, and we still ended up overcoming that. We stayed together as a team. But despite all of that, which all of that's good stuff. Imagine how good we're gonna be when we cut out those penalties. Imagine the celebrations we're gonna have when we get to our apex, when we get to where we're trying to get to. So, that just basically says in the midst of the celebration, I still have higher aspirations for what I expect our team to do. So that's all. That's a great thing. A coach that still has his eyes on things that you can improve, ways that you can get better in the midst of victories. Usually what happens is a team gets a win or a couple wins. They forget all of the stuff they had to do to win.
Yep. Hey, Plank, I wanted to bring this up about Monday night. Then, we can move on to the game that's coming up. So what I pulled up is a next gen stat from Monday's game. And I wanted to look at some of the completions. For those who never seen the next gen stat, the green is the completions and the whites are the misses.
So, and it shows you exactly where he threw the ball.
Where he threw the ball at all night. So we can see there was, looked like 1, 2, is 4. I don't know if I can see the arrow, but 1, 2, 3, 4 screens behind the line of scrimmage on the right side of the field that were completed. There were 2 on the left side. So to kind of put this in perspective, that white one in the backfield, that's the one where they challenged where he threw the ball to Andre Swift.
And it was too low. Yeah.
It was too low.
Yeah.
So what we could see in this game was from, me analyze it, looking at this. In that particular game, Caleb struggled a little bit on passes that were to the left side of the field. That's where you see some of the, you see the 2 deep balls that he missed. That the farthest deep ball was the one where he threw it up to Rome. And if you look at, that was the one that was down there. And then you got another one. Yep. And then you got a couple of them that's right by, in between, right by the hash marks. One of them was where he missed Zacchaeus on that, like I think it was like a skinny post or something. And then you see the 2 sideline passes that were missed, but he was pretty accurate on the right side of the field. So this is the kind of thing I'm bringing this up because these are the type of things that I would say coaches, you go over other than fundamentals, like why did the quarterback miss on this side of the field? Was it coverage? Was there some kind of blocking issue? Right? It could be little things you go over to see that.
Well, the other things I see when I look at this are things that aren't in the stats. Okay. If you look at this, it looks like, the furthest pass that he completed was about 21 yards. The truth is the Bears completed over 4 passes that were 25 yards or more. So what that's telling me is not only is the quarterback throwing the ball and getting it out on time, but he's putting it on receivers at the point where they can continue to try to get yards after the catch. So if you think about the pass that he did to Swift, you can't really notice it on this screen. It was a 55-yard touchdown.
Right,
so which one of those looks like a 55-yard touchdown?
Right. So so these are where, and that's what I like about this. This show you where the actual ball touched the receivers, where the intended receiver was at the time.
Yep.
That the ball was thrown. So you're correct, Plank. So on this particular one, I would take it that one right there on the blue, which it shows as what it is. It says touchdown. You see the blue going. Yeah. Yep. So that's the pass to DeAndre Swift. That pass was completed within like 5 or 6 yards of the line of scrimmage, but it went for like 65 yards or something like that.
Yeah, it was quite a gain. So, I'm just excited that Caleb is doing a whole lot better in every game. It seems to be, more of an indication that he gets it, that he's seeing what he's trying to do. He's trying to lead the correct way, and he's putting the team out there, and the team is actually coalescing around this guy, and they say, we believe in you. You're a lot better than I thought, which says a lot about people that you're in the locker room with every day, every week. that they end up showing more character than you would have expected. When we're looking at Caleb Williams, a lot of people look at his body, his body machinations and what he's doing and all of that, and they're thinking, oh, this guy, he's mad or whatever. Being mad, being angry is a human emotion.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
This idea that quarterbacks or football players or whoever has to fit a certain model and always look like, oh, I'm ready or whatever. That's garbage. At the end of the day, you want people to be themselves, whoever that is. If you like to paint your nails, so be it. If you like to be mad, if you like to smile, sitting on the bench in the middle of the game, that's who you are. That's who you are.
Yeah, plank those up. Let me get back on the screen.
Okay.
They put these buttons in such different places now. I have to remember where they put it. They moved them the last few weeks. Yeah, that's what it's all about, being who you are. You want your quarterback and any of your players just to be relaxed and perform to their full potential. And the thing that you mentioned as game, I was actually trying to look for it to find. And one of the things you can look at is the time to throw in every game. So I was looking at Next Gen stats, and I believe his time to throw in that particular game was about 2.6. If I get a minute, I'll pull it up.
It was 3 seconds. So, man, that means you see in the field pretty well.
You see in the field pretty good. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of times what we hear about is when we talk about time to throw, a quarterback to throw, a lot of times time to throw is not always negative. Like Johnson mentioned, it could mean good protection. It could be a longer you going down the field on that play. Now, where it works against you is when you're holding it and you get sacked and you're not making a decision. That's when it works against you. But every play is not going to always be boom, boom, boom. Some plays are longer developing. But what I do like is when you look at his stats, it is trending down as far as the time to throw. But even though right now it may be showing that his average is over 3 seconds, he hasn't been over 3 seconds the last few games.
Right.
It's just like he started out holding it a little bit longer in the season. So,
yeah, I think this Bears team, I mean, this was the best game put in by the offensive line as a unit. I mean, they did a great job keeping Caleb Williams upright. I think he was sacked either 2 or 3 times, but that's going to happen in games. As you saw it, they kept them clean most of the game. And the other part of it, from in a running game, we were able to run the ball very well. I think we ended up being like 50-50 for run versus pass, which is what you really need to be a successful offense. The number one thing the Bears are trying to get to is where they can do a lot of passing off the play action. So what play action means is it looks like you're doing a running play. It looks like the running back is getting the ball. Then all of a sudden the quarterback looks out and he goes ahead and throws it. If you got that kind of offense, it's extremely hard to play defense against it. What ends up happening from a defensive standpoint, you see a whole lot of different guys walking around and you trying to figure out, does that guy have the ball? Does this guy have the ball? Does that guy have the ball? Then all of a sudden, you see the pass going over your head. That's how it looks like from a corner. You're like, oh, my God, they pass, and I thought it was a run. Mm-hmm. So the more you can structure your offense to look that way, the more successful you're actually going to be. The problem with that is if you're not running the ball well, so even when you run, people don't have to change their behavior to stop it. They basically stopping it right with what they're automatically doing. So if you can't run the ball, play action passes don't work really well. So it doesn't give you those easy lanes to make a throw. You're not throwing the wide receivers where they're wide open. It just makes it a whole lot harder on you as an offense. Sorry about getting so garrulous and long-winded on that.
Okay. That's all right, team. What I saw from what you said is going into this game, the Bears could take. Hopefully, one thing that'll be able to take over to this game is the blocking and the run blocking, and the way they schemed up plays for DeAndre Swift. I would say this game was schemed well because they tried to get him in space more. They got him on the edge. They did a lot of toss plays. And DeAndre Swift showed a whole lot more patience in this game. So we're hoping in the Saints game where they could kind of do the same thing, and they look like they used Maganga a little bit, few more carries, and his carries were inside. And even had a Roshan Johnson sighting. I think he had one carry for 7 yards.
Yeah. So I mean, I think one of the things that I read is that Ben Johnson and the Bears ended up changing a couple things about their offensive line scheme. So they changed it to be trying to run an outside zone, which basically means you don't need these big, fat, lumbering offensive linemen. You need offensive linemen that can kind of run, that are really pretty decent athletes. So when you're looking at the offensive line and the things that they're bringing, Darnell Wright, he's weighing 335 pounds. That dude, I think he ran a 40 in like 5 seconds.
Okay.
That's ridiculous for a man that big. Joe Thuney, that guy, he played a perfect game. 64 snaps, 0 pressures, 0 sacks given up, 0 penalties, and he had like an 80% passing rate, pass blocking rate. And then you had the unsung guy, Theo Benedict. This guy, to be his second game, he really looked like he made a difference. He's definitely good from a physical standpoint. So it seems to me that he's got a much better anchor than that of Jones before him. And I think that's going to make the difference with the Bears. I'm looking forward to seeing what they got Sunday and see whether or not we can do a trend with this.
Yeah. Darnell Wright was a beast on Sunday. He was getting out in space. Several plays where he took one guy out with, 2 guys out with one shove.
Right.
It's something because it ain't till recent years where I appreciate actually seeing offensive linemen. I always appreciate offensive linemen because I'm a former running back, but to see them when you see them in motion when they're passing a guy to another guy, and to see, like, for example, he get out in space on where he's pulling, and a guy that was supposed to get blocked actually got freed, but his assignment was to get the other ones up the field. But just that stiff arm that he put, man, if we could get that video up, where he stiff arm one guy and slow him up enough to turn him, just to give DeAndre Swift a little space, and he got up the field and took 2 guys out constantly. Joe Thuney, like you said, was killing it. So in the Saints, I'm looking for the Bears to put that kind of attack. And I'm not sure how healthy DJ is going to be. I know he was at practice today. He was there, and he said he's going to go. Well, DJ is a warrior, man, because even in games, when you see him limping, even in this game, DJ always get up and, I thought he was going to be out. That play. I was shocked that he got back in that game, but DJ is going to fight through stuff. Sometimes players like that, you got to save them from themselves. Sometimes you may have to say, man, we got another guy, we need you for whatever the game the following week. We need you for that game,
Well, I think what happened to DJ is indicative of a lot of today's NFL players. They wear less and less protective equipment. So with DJ, everybody said, oh, he hurt himself and it was a groin injury and pulled hip. Basically, he got hit in his private areas.
Right.
Somebody hit him with a helmet in the private areas, and that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
But had you had on a cup, maybe you wouldn't have hurt so much. So nowadays, you don't even have pro football players that are wearing cups. The receivers, the DBs, they're not wearing like thigh pads or knee pads. So if you end up taking a hit or taking an awkward hit, it's going to hurt you a whole lot worse. But at the end of the day, they're making a decision. I need the speed more than I do the protection.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I need to be fast, and it's not a big deal if I end up getting hurt every now and again. I disagree with that. I need my cup. I'm sorry.
This Saints team they also got a first time head coach, Kellen Moore. He's bounced around a lot as far as an OC, but this is his first time getting a job as a head coach. But I'm not surprised because when I watched Kellen Moore back in his college days at Boise State,
man,
one thing I thought was apparent about him was he was going to be a heck of a coach one day. That's what I thought of him in college. I thought he just didn't have an arm strength in college, but he won a lot of games and threw for a lot of yards. But some of the lack of arm strength, you could see it was going to be apparent. I want to say when he first came out, I want to say he was on Dallas, maybe like a third string quarterback on Dallas or something, like maybe fifth, sixth, real late draft pick. And he kind of knew what his calling was, so because if he wanted to, he could probably be bouncing around the league right now as a clipboard holder, but he decided pretty quick to go ahead into coaching.
Yeah, even back in college, the thing I remember about him was he was really smart with assessing and dissecting the play calls. Hey, Bilal, what's going on?
What's up, Q?
So he was really good at that, but like you're saying, his downfall was he had a noodle arm. And that happens to a lot of these guys when they try to get to be professional quarterbacks. There's only so many players that really have strong arms, even in NFL. You got players like Joe Burrow. Some people are doing assessments on Joe Burrow saying, well, his arm strength isn't that good. I'm like, what are y'all watching? Joe Burrow can fit the ball in the tightest little spaces. But, there's elite arm strength and then there's regular arm strength. And most of the guys in the NFL, they've got strong arms relative to you and me playing, but relative to, the top tier in the NFL, it's only so many of them that really have that rocket arm on them.
Okay.
That's kind of where I had that issue when a lot of people start talking about the Chicago Bears and they get a little bit enamored with Tyson Bagent as the backup quarterback. Because he's one of those guys like Kellen Moore. He can very quickly get on the line of scrimmage, assess where the ball needs to be, and he can get it there accurately. The problem is when he needs that little extra speed, that extra oomph on the ball to make it go through there, his arm's not strong enough. And that's not to say that the guy's weak. That's not to say that he's not a professional quarterback. There's just only so many of those guys that can get it through that extremely tight window. What's that game that's like the pendulum's going back and forth and you see 15 different things? These pro quarterbacks with strong arms are the ones that can throw the ball and it's going to knock all of that stuff in the way down anyway. So they're going to get passes there. But most of the quarterbacks are not like that.
Yeah, they're just like there was a throw Monday night that would demonstrate Caleb's arm strength. There was a pass to Luther Burton where he literally was standing flat-footed and he didn't even have to step into the throw. And I think it was about a 20 to 25 yard throw. And it was a second layer throw and it's something because when he threw it, Troy Aikman only acknowledged that he threw a flat foot and he kind of just talk about, but he didn't talk about how incredible that throw was to be able to make flat footed.
Yep.
Right. That was a very difficult throw. But this is one of the things the Bears will be able to have to keep exploiting as things go on, that Caleb can make those second level throws that are like right over that's right over the linebackers. And if they're in a too deep with the safeties, where it drops right over the linebackers, but right before you get to the safety, and there's maybe 25 yards up the field, or like you said, those lanes where it looked like how did he even get the ball through there?
Right.
Yeah. So looking at this game against the Saints, I think on the edge, the Bears have the edge as far as quarterback. This goes back when they kind of was battling for that starting job. I mean, you got you want to talk about anything about that plank when they was in college, Spencer Rattler and Caleb, or it was on jumping to the Saints game?
When Spencer Rattler and Caleb Williams played together on the same team as teammates on Oklahoma, The problem was Spencer Rattler was kind of an upperclassman. I think he was a junior at the time, and he was looked at as a Heisman Trophy candidate, and he was going to be the next it guy and all of those things. And Caleb Williams, from the time he came into that camp, wanted to compete with him. He wanted to get up in the morning and work out and lift weights and do things like that at the same time as Spencer Rattler. So he wanted to, have this guy know, I'm watching you, I'm waiting for you, and as soon as you make a mistake, I'm gonna be there. And they ended up playing. I think they were playing UCLA, Texas. I don't even. I think.
Maybe, I think it was a Texas. It was against Texas.
Texas. And they were down 28-7 with Spencer Rattler leading the team because he had a couple picks, a fumble. He was just all out of it, and almost, with hindsight, the coach ended up putting Caleb Williams in. And the first play Caleb Williams comes in, it's a 4th and 1 or whatever. This dude ends up running for a 65-yard touchdown as a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So they was like, okay, what's going on with this? Then they put a Rattler back in the next series, and he messed up. Then they put Caleb Williams in again, and he got another touchdown. So it ended up being one of those things. It's pretty clear that the freshman is better than this upperclassman, but they, it was kind of hard for them to go away from this because this was kind of their poster boy. So Caleb Williams has had kind of haunted Spencer Rattler even since the high school stage. So, it's almost like Spencer Rattler, he probably is looking at this game Sunday as a revenge game, and I can show everybody who I am. Dude, we're looking at difference of arm strength and difference of who this guy is. You can't beat him like that. You might be able to outsmart him, outthink him, that kind of stuff. You're not going to be a better physical specimen than this guy.
Yeah, hey, got some comments out there. Hey, thank everybody who's watching us on YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn tonight. Okay. Yeah, it's a comment from Keith Flournoy. Man, you made a comment.
Hey. Generally, when we got 5 or 6 people on here, I'm able to try to keep up with the people that are commenting real time and everything else. But with just you and me, it's a little bit more difficult. So,
yeah. Hey, Jay couldn't make it tonight. Guy couldn't make it, and Mike couldn't make it. Mike had ref from games tonight. Friday night is high school football night. So Mike,
I might have to go to one of Mike's games that he refs just so I can heckle the ref right out there. Be like, man, that ref is terrible, man. He 16 calls. He sucks. The rest of the crew is good. That back ref is. I'll be hazing him. That'll be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think the Bears definitely had a clear advantage as far as the receiving core. I mean, once everything get to clicking with the Bears, and we kind of work out some of the penalties and maybe some of the miscues and accuracy improve, that's going to be a hard group. And if that offensive line keep gelling and they're keeping people off the quarterback, it's going to be what we thought last year was going to be. Who's going to be open? And I do like the fact, who's not going to be open? I do like the fact that I saw Kurt Warner talking about the Bears offense a few days ago, and he mentioned that the first 2 games he thought that Ben Johnson didn't call a good game. I thought that's how I felt myself, and we kind of expressed that. And I was kind of happy to hear Kurt Warner express that he was saying in those games there really wasn't that many guys open, which led to Caleb holding the ball a little bit longer. And he said he was a little disappointed because Ben Johnson was known for scheming guys open in Detroit. But he noticed after that game, he felt that Ben Johnson made adjustments, and you start to see each game more guys having separation, right? And we started seeing, because the first 2 games we saw no targets at the tight end. I know some of it was offensive line thing where they had to stay in, but now you're starting to see Loveland getting a target. You're seeing Kmet get a target. So I expect as these weeks go on, those guys are probably going to get 5 to 10 targets between the 2 of them to increase their target. And what I'm looking for with Loveland is I'm looking for him when he catch the ball to stop running like he's worried about fumbling the ball.
Right.
It seemed like the few catches he's caught this year, he immediately is in the open field carrying the ball like he's a fullback.
Right.
Carry the ball high and tight, and you'll probably have more balance running, especially when the guys are not right by you. So he has to get that comfort level when he catching these balls in the open field to not immediately go to two hands on the ball, because you're actually slowing down and losing yards that you potentially could get.
Okay, 2 points on that. Number one, Kurt Warner is a player that ended up teaching himself how to be successful playing quarterback. So he was somebody that was a pretty good leader, had a good arm, but he didn't know how to play football. As a matter of fact, the game itself didn't speed up for him till he got out there in the arena league. And I think he had 1.5 seconds to throw every doggone time because the offensive line wasn't blocking worth anything. But Kurt Warner was able to use that, and that's probably why he's one of the better analysts that is out there in the NFL today. From the time the Bears started this year, I was listening to Kurt Warner's assessments, and he kept saying, it looks like this guy, Caleb Williams, is going to be successful. And I'll tell you why, because Ben Johnson schemes people open and things like that. So hats off to Kurt Warner. I think he's doing a great job. To your point about Colston Loveland, you're right. He looks like a big guy that's a wide receiver that's scared to take a hit or scared to keep trying to get yards after the catch. Mm-hmm. So he's getting the ball in a lot of times, and it's almost like he's looking for somebody to run into. So you juxtapose that against somebody like Luther Burden. Luther Burden, as soon as he catches the ball, that's where the show actually begins. This guy he gets his hands on the ball. He going to put 15, 16 moves on you, try to break out, do good route running, good yards after the catch, and he's going to try to take it to the house every time. So if we can get Loveland to get a little more confidence in himself that, hey, you're a big guy, you're a tight end, but you're talented. You actually belong in the NFL. I think at that point he might settle down a little bit, and we might see a little bit better player from him, overall. That's my assessment of those two things. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So when you look at the matchup, I know we mentioned quarterback earlier. If you look at the stats, you would see that Spencer Rattler is his completion percentages higher than Caleb, and Chris Lavier is having a pretty good year this year, and those guys been catching passes, but this is why sometimes stats could be misleading. What are their yards per catch? How many points are they scoring? It's a lot of variables on the team. As a matter of fact, Alvin Kamara is interesting. There's rumors coming out of the Saints, New Orleans, that the team might be shopping him, and so there was something this week that was said that he said this. I'm not sure if he said it, but him saying that if they do trade him, he's going to retire. So I guess that's if he did say that. I didn't look up any videos to see if he actually said it, but I know there's been a story going on this week that he do not want to leave New Orleans. So, and I know people have been loosely linking him to being traded to the Bears. Not that the Bears were talking about it, but that was just a dream that maybe they thought. But I think right now the Bears have to find a way to, before the trade deadline, to work all three of their backs, even Roschon Johnson, to make sure they got a third guy. Now, I know we're going to get back Travis Homer. He should be coming back real soon, but he's more of like a third down guy that blocks and maybe catch a little something. But as far as the threat in the run game, it's not much you're going to get there.
Right. I'm not afraid of him trying to run past me or nothing like that. So, but I do think that the Bears definitely need to, have more of a dedication and investment to the running game, because that opens up so much more with them. The fact that they've got a really good offensive line now, they've got a quarterback that can actually lead the team, that can fit the ball there. The running backs are the next thing that we kind of have to open. Well, that and the tight ends have kind of been silent. They've been out there trick or treating with no costume on. So just to talk about the current season. So the tight ends got to do much better. We got Cole Kmet, who had been at least an operational tight end for the last couple of years. I don't know if he's intimidated by the offense or if he's intimidated a little bit by Ben Johnson or the presence of a first round tight end out there. You can't worry about that. You got to go out there and ball out and do what you're good at. So, this last game that he had Monday night was a decent game for him. I think he had maybe 2 catches. However, the game before that, he had 9 targets and missed 6 of them. So in my mind, Kmet still has a lot of stuff to make up for to prove that he belongs out there on this field with this offense. And I never used to think that way about him either, but he definitely left some points out there on the field.
Yeah. Some of it is lack of concentration by players, and maybe are being rattled a little bit on changes or the field. I mean, I'm sure that could be intimidating that a guy got drafted in the first round, and even though the team saying, is open competition, it could be probably, a little alarming for him. I mean, he just got married last year and all that, so he could be rattled by the situation. But I think Kmet will be able to come through and overcome whatever issues that may be kind of making them have a off year, and just go ahead and make the competition hard on Loveland. And guess what? Loveland should make it hard on you too. Mm-hmm. And what we have is 2 dynamic tight ends, right? There's nothing wrong with having 2 dynamic tight ends, especially since one or more of like a receiver. You could kind of line them up in that position where he'll be matched up. But hey, let's move over to the defensive side, Plank.
One point I want to make. I ended up watching the game last night, Cincinnati and the Steelers, and I saw what an elite wide receiver looks like. From Cincinnati, Chase, man, this dude, every time he caught the ball, the defense was scared. They were terrified at what this guy was going to do. He ended up being targeted, I think, 23 times. He made like 15 catches.
Yeah, 15 to 16, yeah.
He was missing a whole lot of them. So there was almost like every time he missed, they were like, whoa. When this dude, when he caught the ball, man, you already knew he was going to the end zone.
Yeah.
There was no question that he was the best guy out there on the field. And it showed. He was able to win with a 40-year-old backup quarterback. That's unheard of. So
yeah. He had one play where he was in the end zone where it ended up being a drop when he rolled over. But I think the next play right after that, they went right back at him and he ended up getting the touchdown. So it was almost irrelevant, other than he ended up having to drop on his stat line.
So when we start talking about number 1 receivers with DJ Moore and Rome Odunze, until those guys start looking like that, I'm gonna still be calling them out. So
right. Those are the tough catches you have to make. Looking at the Bears defense right now, I'm gonna start from the bottom to work my way to the top. Okay. The Bears' weakest link right now on defense is Nashawn Wright.
Oh my God! Yeah,
Nashawn Wright. This is one of the things I do notice about him. He has a habit of looking in the backfield and losing where the offensive player at. Stick the guy that you assign. Do your assignment. That's your number 1 thing, is do your assignment. Now, every once in a while, depends on the route that a receiver is running, you may be able to look right at the quarterback and he's staring something down. And like in that game, the Vikings game, you're able to get a jump on something. But when you start moving up for a play that's not your guy, you get a touchdown like you got in games like that where you abandon your guy because you think the ball is going somewhere else and you blow the assignment by letting the guy run up the field. So Nashawn Wright has to get better at what he's doing Tyreek Stevenson has been doing real good the last 3 games. Nothing to say about him.
Nahshon Wright, he's one of those players that lives and dies on the edge. So he's kind of, just out there trying to make a big play every game. So if he ends up getting an interception or a fumble recovery or some big play that justifies his existence, he's pretty happy. That's different than other cornerbacks who are only happy when you have a low completion percentage going against them. At this point, what you're talking about is Tyreek Stevenson. He's starting to be a low completion percentage defensive back. Now what's happening is, I've kind of noticed since, Jalen Johnson is hurt, every quarterback is going directly at Nahshon Wright. They've even stopped throwing the ball against Tyreek Stevenson, which at the beginning of the year, he was kind of suspect as well. But he started to settle in, and he's doing much better. The thing about Tyreek Stevenson that I like is that he's a willing run support defensive back. Himself, Kyler Gordon, they'll come up and they'll put a lick on you. So that actually puts you in a different frame as defenders as far as I'm concerned. All right, so we're going to talk about the next level of defense. Who are we talking about?
And, one of the most important piece that the Bears have got back, and who has been their best defensive player the last several years, have been T.J. Edwards.
Billy Edwards' son, yeah. Billy Edwards with the Western. Yes, sir.
is for those who are new to this channel, both of us are graduates of Western Illinois, So anyway, T.J. Edwards is the heart and soul of this team as far as making plays. I mean, he's always all over the field. He's a hard worker. I know Kyler Gordon, it was his first game back. It was a kind of it was one of those games. You've been out for a while. You're a little rusty. He didn't do too well, but I expect his arrow to point back up in this game coming up here. I was nothing about Brisker and Byer. They both of them been pretty solid this year. Brisker had a few plays. He kind of, was a little bit missing on Monday, but still pretty all much. He played a solid game. So I want defense. I'm really more concerned about making sure that interior keeps the quarterback in front of them and to put pressure. We started getting pressure late in that game on Jaden Daniels, which made a difference in that game. So I like to be able to see us keep building on that. And it looked like Grady Jarrett is not going to play in this game. I think he's out again.
Stealing money. Well, yep. If he's hurt, he's hurt. He's an older guy in his 30s. So he's not going to be out there every game. We don't count on old men to run fast. From the Bears, that second tier of the Bears has really become one of the strengths. So Tremaine Edmonds, I've been hard on this guy over the last couple of years, talking about he's not earning this contract. This guy got like 13 tackles. He's been all over the field, and not only is he making tackles, you and I talked about a couple of years ago metrics on what tackles mean. Just because you tackle the guy don't mean that's a good play. If the guy runs 10 yards down the field and you're a linebacker, that means he has to run past you in order to get those 10 yards. So you stopping him at 10 yards, it's good that you stopped him, but that's not really an impactful play. Recently, Edmonds has really been making impactful plays. T.J. Edwards has always been a thumper. He's a good tackler. He's good against the run and the pass. What happened in the game on Monday, he was going up against Jaden Daniels, and you got to try to grab that beast by the horns and just hold on, because I haven't seen anybody run him down yet. Also with the Bears, I'm excited this week, because I think we got Austin Booker coming back, the second-year player, and I think this is actually a special player. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do this year on the Bears. Hey, Luke Sky, what we got?
Oh, let's see what we got. He got some more new music out. Let's get a little glimpse of it.
Man, you know what? I like Luke. I like him. He's got a good voice. I like his flow. He's a good writer. So he's definitely a great linguist. I remember in high school, he was in a lot of poetry contests and doing things like that. But not only does he use good linguistic skills, he's also got a lot of like double entendre. So he'll say something that could mean multiple things, and you actually listen to what he said. I'm like, that dude's pretty good, man. I like him. I'm not just saying it because that's my nephew, but he's talented, man. So I'm always looking forward to the things he's bringing out there.
Yeah, so hey, look for Luke Sky Music on Apple Music, Spotify. Yep. Luke Mon is my son. Like Plank said, a lot of it. Luke Mon actually is a aviation major. You know, he has a degree in aviation management. That's where he came up with the word sky, right? You know, so once in a while he had mentioned something in his rap about flying, right? But he actually know how to fly planes. He's working on his pilot's license, etc. But anyway, let's get back to the game and playing.
Point about that: we should not be afraid to celebrate our children. In many cases, whenever our kids are really good at something, we almost silent about saying it because people think that you making it up or it's unbelievable. We just happen to have some really great kids. And I'm glad, as a matter of fact, shout out to Jonathan Bowie. That's my frat brother, Emerson Bowie's son. Jonathan is an engineer, man after my own heart. He's a young genius just running around there and he's conquering the world. So I'm always happy to see him out here, and we should praise our kids. So anybody else that got a problem with that, we just gonna have a problem with it. So there you go.
With it. That's right. Hey, before we get to these games, Plank, it's that time.
2 for 2. 2 for 2.
Wow, we ain't did 2 for 2 in a minute.
Hey, 2 for 2. Hey, when Guy's not here, Guy still is here. Hey, okay. Plank, do you want me to go with 2 for 2 first, or you want to go?
No, you go. I don't even know who the games are this week. So
okay. So 2 for 2 for those who are new to Bears Banter Talk Show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube. If you're watching it on Facebook right now, switch over to YouTube and watch it on YouTube. You can just put in the search bar Bears Banter Talk Show, and it'll come up on the in the search bar. But 2 for 2 is the 2 best teams in the NFL currently right now, and the 2 worst teams in the NFL. I'm gonna start with my bottom 2. My bottom 2 is the lowly Jets. The Jets are 0-6, and they may end up leaving this weekend 0-7. The next team is going to have to be the Tennessee Titans. Reason I'm picking the Tennessee Titans, even though there's a bunch of teams in the NFL right now that have won one game, but what's making them unique is they fired their coach after 6 games. So that doesn't never really bode well when you fire, and he's a new coach. So it's not like you fired a veteran coach. You fired a first-year coach into 6 games into the season, and you fired his father. I think it was his father, uncle, somebody who was on the staff as well. So you're not trending in the right direction. My top 2 teams are y'all gonna laugh, maybe some of y'all. Right now, I'm gonna say is the Colts and Tampa Bay.
Oh, what made you go with those 2 now? You're going to have to justify that, bro. What are we talking about?
And I'm saying how they playing right now. That doesn't mean they're going to be the 2 best teams when the season ends. I thought teams I had picked in the previously on the top. I didn't think Buffalo have had a good game this week. They kind of look like they need something else on offense in this last game. And I looked at Philly this week and really the last 2 weeks. Philly has looked like they've lost a step. They really miss Kellen Moore. So their offense is not really clicking. Their run game is not really clicking. And it's kind of looking like quarterback is missing a lot of plays. So those were my previous 2. In Kansas City, they're Kansas City. I mean, to me, they is theirs to lose, but I just don't have them in my top 2 right now. Okay,
2 for 2. The bottom 2 is easy. I'm going to go with the Jets. Justin Fields, we wish you the best, but you're leaving a lot of points out there on the field. That's going to be my assessment. And Tennessee, there's no way you can end up firing your coach and you don't know who your quarterback is. You don't know who's going to lead you. So they both looking like some pretty bad teams. My top two teams this week, number one, the Detroit Lions. Detroit is they turned into sleeping giants, and I expected them not to do as well offensively because they had lost Ben Johnson, their main play caller, and they lost the wide receivers coach or what have you. It looks like they didn't picked up right from where they left off. So not only is one of the things about Detroit that we probably was downplayed last year, they had a whole lot of injuries, especially on key players and defenders. Looks like they got that back, and Detroit is going to be a hard team to beat this year. My second best team in the NFL this year, and I'm gonna do a caveat just like you did, Nutty. It's New England, the New England Patriots. They are looking a whole lot better than people expected. This Drake May, this guy is coming up as a quarterback. He's looking like the second coming of not Tom Brady, but whoever the next best quarterback in New England is going to be. We ain't gonna put him in Tom Brady's shoes yet, but he gets it. He's doing well. He's throwing an accurate ball, and he's showing it that he's a leader. So the entire New England team, they're kind of following that template of Mike Vrabel, and you can see that they're getting it every game, that they're competitive, and strangely enough, they're in first place in their division, even though they're in the division with the Buffalo Bills, where everybody just anointed them, saying that this is their time to win. It doesn't look like it. Looked like New England's got something to say about that.
Okay. Yeah, man. Plank, I had almost went with them. I was debating the Patriots, right? Because I don't want to always have the same teams every week, because sometimes some teams ascend in a week, and sometimes some teams descend so much in a week that it makes you question where they at, right? And the play. But hey, I was looking at some of the my game of the week. I don't know if you need me to tell you some of these games, but for me, the game of the week, other than the Bears game, is going to be. I just had it in front of me. It's going to be the Rams and the Jaguars. I know that may sound a little different, but the Jaguars have been playing good football this year, and the Rams are playing good football, and both teams are 4-2. So that's the game of the week to me outside the Bears game.
That's the Sunday night game, right?
That's the Sunday night game.
I've actually been watching
Sunday morning. It's 8:30.
Oh, 8:30 in the morning?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to get up that early again to watch football. Okay, I'll do it. But, I think Jacksonville, they've actually shown something. They've been anointing Golden Boy, the quarterback, since he got out of Clemson. But now it looks like he's actually trying to turn a new leaf. He looks like he's an actual dangerous and competent quarterback. And with the LA Rams, I never count out Matthew Stafford. That dude, he continues to just be a dynamic quarterback. I'm so glad he left Detroit. That's the only way any of these teams in the Central have a chance to win. Matthew Stafford had that locked down. He just had a terrible team with him. Yeah,
he sure did. Man, that's the parity of the NFL this year. You're starting to see some of the teams that was bottom dwellers, at least through 6 games, that look a whole lot better than they did on previous games. So which is good. And man, you know what? Let's get to the most important part on picking who's gonna win this game or who you think gonna win. I predict with the Bears, if they're able to run the ball, I must always start with the run first. If they're able to run the ball well and stop the run, keep the penalties down, and take advantage of any opportunity they may have, I take the Bears to win this. I wrote it down. I take the Bears to win this game 28-18.
Okay. I can see why you would go with that. I'm a little bit concerned about the game this week because New Orleans has a really good defensive line. It's one of those things that kind of tricks you. You think they're not good. They're hard to run on. They're one of the strengths of their team. However, their defensive backfield, those guys, they can't catch a cold. These are some really terrible DBs. So depending on which one imposes their will, that determines how that game's gonna go. I don't see Ben Johnson's offense digressing. So that being said, the last 5 games they scored at least 25 points. I'm gonna put them up at 30 this time. I think the Bears are gonna break 30. We're at home. We're in a familiar environment. We got Jay Beasley and his boys out there cheering for the Bears, so that's got to make a difference. And Spencer Rattler, I don't think he's gonna show quite as tough as Caleb Williams. He's a little bit intimidated by that. I think the Bears are gonna end up winning 30-21.
30-21. Okay. I got some more scores, and anybody who out there watching, if you got some scores, get it in so I can show it on the screen. Hey, Jay Beasley sent in his score. Jay has the Bears winning 31 and the Saints 20. Okay, he's like you. He got the Bears getting over 30 points.
Okay, all right.
I got the score from Guy Moore. Guy has the Bears. Oh, he had the same. He had 31 points like Jay has, and he has the Bears 31. And the Saints 24. I didn't get quick scores. So right now, the 4 of us all going with the Bears.
Man, Quick probably got us go like the Bears 73, the Saints 2 points. Then he gonna say the defense gave up 2 points, so that's why they suck. So we don't really need Quick's assessment. I'm waiting for him to come back here so we can.
So they gave up 300 yards on the ground and 2 points from a safety. Man, that defense sucks.
Defense sucks. I'm like, oh, Quick, what you got to do to play defense? So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Oh, Dallas and Washington are playing again on Sunday. I'm looking forward to watching that. I enjoy seeing Dallas get beat up on and, them not looking good. So, whoever wins out of those games is going to be, I don't care. Either one of them, I'm going to make fun of the other team. Who is Green Bay this week? Do they got a bye?
Who is that?
Green Bay. I didn't see him out there. Oh, Green Bay and Arizona. Oh, that's not even fair. Green Bay is going to trounce them. A fun game looks like it's going to be Denver, who's a pretty good team, is better than I thought, with the New York Giants. The New York Giants with Dart, they look pretty good out there, and that doggone running back Scatterboo, man, that dude is just running into stuff. He probably got another 2 weeks of playing in the NFL before all the concussions catch up to him. But he's worth watching this way.
Yeah, he's a fun guy to watch, and even looking at their quarterback, what's his name?
Dart.
Yep. Dart is since he came in the starting lineup, he's played well. They both are exciting guys to watch, so that should be a pretty interesting game. Dallas are in a position really because their defense has gotten progressively worse with Flus coming on, and this is gonna be a tough game. It's gonna be a tough game because the Giants are they appear to be ascending right now. So, and people are excited about watching Cam Scatterboo. He's almost like a throwback running back from
John Riggins, maybe.
Who was that?
John Riggins.
Yeah, the Diesel.
Yeah. He's just out there running into people, running over people. It's just fun to watch right now. So yeah, I don't know how long he can sustain that, but he's definitely fun to watch.
Yeah, I do suspect as the season go, they will start throwing some personal fouls on him because there are plays where he's actually lowering his helmet on defenders into their chest, which is a sportsman play, right? But right now he's kind of getting away with it a little bit because you actually cannot lower your helmet down where your face mask is facing the ground and the defender get the top part of your helmet and you done it on purpose.
That's the whole way that I play football all the time.
So that's pretty good. But also, man, look at that, man. I love these shirts, man. I know we got the new
this shirt you just got this week. You made it for me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we got it. We got it in gray, like I got on. We got it blue, like Plank got on. We got them in orange. I may not have none for the Bears. Banter is having a watch party this Sunday. at the Southern South Shore Yacht Club. I think it's 7406 South Robert Street. Being sponsored by Mike Patterson for all those who would like to come over there. Yeah, and him and Mark Chin put this together. So if you're a Bears Banner supporter, please show up and meet some of the other people that support this channel and also who support the Facebook and then also hit the subscribe button. We have 776 subscribers. We're trying to get to 1,000 this season. Push that button and share with other friends.
Tell your friends about us.
Yep. Hey, anything else, Plank, you wanted to talk about before we shut it down for the night?
No, I mean, you know what? I won't be able to make it to the event on Sunday because, you know, I spend a lot of time at home watching the games, and I'm a bit of a wreck. I get to cussing out TVs and hollering and screaming and all of that stuff. So I don't want to embarrass myself no more than I have to. One problem that I'm having, though, is I recognize my youngest son, Jared, he got the same doggone problem. He calls me and right after the game, and we both cussing on the phone about how bad the Bears are. So this year, at least we got something good to talk about. So,
right, yeah. I let everybody know I'll be running a little late to that. Early that morning, we'll be doing a commemoration of the 30th anniversary of the Million Man March at Mars Mariano 74th and Stony Island. So if you got it's 10 a.m. So if you got time, fall through there to commemorate the 30th anniversary of the Million Man March. But until then, is anything else?
Oh, let me just throw a shout out to my original karate instructor, Larry Tankson. Just had his 70th birthday. Happy birthday, Master Tankson. Look forward to hanging out with you guys. And that's my 2 cents on that.
Okay, happy birthday, man. That young man, he's 70 years old. Okay.
Something, ain't it?
Yeah, time flies.
A whole bunch of young guys. So watch out and pay attention.
Right. Okay. Until next time. Peace.